friends and family of deceased loved ones. What did you find on their computers that made you wish they did delete their browser history? He had googled how to kill yourself 14 hours before his body was found. I miss you, big bro. Not his computer, but when my brother died in a town 200 miles from where my parents lived, I found his cell phone when we went to collect his belongings from his apartment. I looked through his text messages and found a bunch of Zuli graphic texts he'd sent to his ex-GF. I deleted them before letting my parents have the phone because I knew my mom would want to read everything he'd ever written. My aunt's friend used to be a coroner at a hospital in the Hayward district. A young man who lived rather colorful life had passed. The deceased was heavily tattooed and pierced. His parents were very religiously conservative. When family came to the hospital to pick up his effects, the parents made several comments about the deceased's alternative lifestyle. The coroner very carefully recounted all of the man's jewelry and personal belongings to the parents. Piercings, ears, 4 each side nose, 1 cell phone, wallet, keys, etc. As the parents mourned at the bedside, the coroner called the brother aside and, handing him a sealed envelope, whispered, "Here are his other piercings." After my great-grandpa died, my mom's uncles and aunts came over to help clean out his stuff. They found a giant black Leo in his nightstand and immediately looked at my great-grandma. She laughed and said it was all his. Old lady did not give a duck. Straight beast. Not my family, but I was fixing a friend's computer that his deceased father left behind. While backing up his files, I came across some NSFW pictures of his father. Drugs, WHRs, and drinking. Apparently his father was a big WHR lover and would drink and party to excess and was quite the deviant. When I mentioned what I had found to my friend's wife, she informed me not to share that info with him as it would crush his opinion of his father. I kindly just removed all the bad pictures and left the good ones of his father. Not my place to tarnish a man's thoughts of his family. My then boyfriend, now husband, was renting a room from a middle-aged couple. The man died of lung cancer. A couple days after the funeral, the woman knocked on his door and asked if he could delete all the ND photos of her late husband's co-worker off his computer. I guess he had been having an affair. He knew he was dying for months. Why wouldn't he delete them? I felt really sorry for her. When my best friend passed away suddenly, she was in a pretty seriously kinky relationship with her boyfriend. He had to clear all those ex toys out of her room. She lived with her parents and me, and another friend had to hack her Facebook, laptop and phone to delete all the naked pictures she'd taken to send to him so her grieving parents wouldn't find anything. Knew way more about her than I needed to at that point, but at least it gave us a distracting project. When I was about 16, 17, my dad came and got me out of bed around 2 AM. Because his cousin, closest thing to a brother he had, died at 37 from a heart attack. I didn't understand why we had to get up so early to drive the 6 hours to his place. But about halfway there, my dad explained he had a small grow operation in the Carolina Mountains, and we had to get there before his parents, very religiously conservative, found out. We chopped about 30 plants down, loaded them up, and hid about 15 years worth of hustlers. Well, my step-grandfather was the son of a senator and came from a long line of military and political power. He was kicked out of the military for blowing someone, but it was swept under the rug because his father couldn't be associated with a gay. Step-grandpa immediately met and married my grandma, his beard and platonic soulmate. Even though he was gay, he very much loved her with everything he had. Grandma looks like Mallory Archer. Grandpa looked like Steve Martin in the 90s. Both were very wealthy and attractive, so they were easily the posh power couple you would expect a secret queen to be a part of. They were the most fabulous pair in existence. When he died, my aunt went in with my grandmother to clear his computer. The gapy right now was no shocker. I mean, yeah, duh. The thing that really shocked my aunt was the emails and photos he saved. Grandma had kept it quiet from his step-grandchildren, my mom and aunt. But when grandpa found out the cancer had come back, he started dating an attractive bisexual man that my grandmother also fancied. too long didn't read. My aunt found pictures of my grandma and grandpa banging a dude in the gayest three-way involving a woman possible. I miss him so much. He died the way he lived, secretly flaming. A guy I knew died. He was sort of my friend on and off as children are. We were probably best friends from about 11, 14. Then he met these new cool friends. Anyways, summer before high school he was with those friends at a trailer park, smoking up and drinking, and then they were playing at the lake. He disappeared into the lake and drowned. It was pretty shitless. A few months later his mom contacts me and says she remembered I was his friend, and we always liked playing on his computer, and she thought maybe I should have it. So I had my first computer. It was crap even then, but I was happy to have something. I found all these weird journals he had written, and of course started to read them. Most of it was shit I already knew, and I sort of felt super creepy reading it, but I read it all anyhow, and just felt worse and worse. He didn't really say much about me. He called me a nerd the couple of times that I came up, but I was barely mentioned. But there was a lot of shit in it about how much he hated his parents, and then stuff about how he wanted to die and thought about killing himself. Made me wonder if he really just walked off into the water on purpose or not. Anyways, wish I'd never read that, and I sure as heck hope he parents didn't before they gave me the computer. I'm pretty sure they wouldn't have, or would have at least deleted them. I had a friend die when we were 19 and in a car crash. We weren't super close at the end, but we had been friends a long time and our dads were pretty close. I had seen him the night he died for the first time in a while. We had a good talk. He died a few days before Christmas, so I was home from school and spent a good bit of time over there helping with what we could, including trying to get his Facebook info. I started looking around and noticed the P right now in his history. So after I got what I needed from Facebook, I cleared his history. I'm pretty sure I saved him that embarrassment, though that's a meme I would rather not have ever had to live. Rest in peace, Jaybird. Nothing of note, but when I went through grandma's cell phone I found she had dozens of pictures of her pet dog. She yelled at that dog every day, but that dog was 100% loyal to her. She never left her side when she got really sick, and pined for days when she died, and apparently she loved her just as much back. The dog now lives with us. I'm into photography, and when my grandparents died 3 days apart, my uncle gave me my grandparents' camera. It was dead and all it needed was a new battery, like a AA or something easy to get, so I don't know why my uncle didn't try that. On the card in the camera, it was full of photos of my grandmother sleeping and hanging around the house. Not nude or anything, just regular pictures. My grandfather had dementia and was pretty out of it the last 2 years of his life, but he always loved my grandmother. He drove her kind of nuts, but he was just infatuated with her for over 60 years. I thought it was kind of sweet that he still took pictures of his wife doing nothing, even though he didn't have the mental capacity to remember much else. She's alive, but my aunt was trying to show me something on the internet using her laptop. She typed in B and the first Google autocomplete suggestion was big duck ein tits. I pretended I didn't notice. This thread is making me realize I really gotta cover my tracks more often. My dad died unexpectedly this September. I took his phone and laptop because I had a suspicion he was cheating on my mom. He was. There was so much P right now. So much. I deleted apps like WhatsApp, so my mom wouldn't ever see their message history. I cleaned out his emails for the same thing. Deleted accounts on dating websites and P right now subscriptions and the like. Deleted Skype so my mom wouldn't ever find any of the messages there either. I emailed the person he was talking to and said he died. Got into an argument about how I was lying. Sent them the obituary. I got rid of all the Western Union stuff I could find as he was sending them money to. Deleted love letters to this other person. I don't have the heart to tell my mom. I don't think I ever will. My dad died in 2013. I found him at his computer after having an aneurysm due to watching P right now. Specifically this Euro chick getting banged. When my best friend died, I was cleaning out her room with her brother when he found her birth control. He mentioned he'd have to hide that from their parents. They were first generation Chinese American, so I get it. But knowing her, there was plenty of worse things he cold and maybe eventually did find. It'll be 6 years tomorrow. Not the computer. A friend of mine got in a car accident in high school and passed away. As a small town, people were going to his house and paying their condolences. Anyways, I made my way to his bedroom to grab his stash. It wasn't a big deal, but I didn't think his super religious mother should come across his weed box. His dad was actually aware of what his son did, and as I was leaving pulled me to the side and asked if there was anything he needed to get rid of. I told him to the best of my knowledge it has been taken care of. He thanked me, we hugged and cried for a few minutes, and now I'm depressed. Consider subscribing if you enjoyed this video, and if you want to see more of Reddit Universe.